Good morning, everybody. We are going to talk about a very specific kind of proportion today. So, we've talked a lot about proportions this try. We're going to talk about the percent proportion. The percent proportion is a way to find percents by using what we know about proportions and solving proportions. Okay. So, here I have it for you. You're going to want to get this down in your notes. We're going to talk about what each of these pieces mean. But the percent proportion is this: it's part over whole equals percent over 100. Now this might look familiar from when we were converting fractions to percents. Okay, remember a fraction is basically a ratio of the part to the whole. And to turn it into a percent, what you did is you try to rewrite it as something over 100. And whatever that top number was, that was your percent. So this is the same idea, except now that we have our proportional solving stuff, we can figure out what this number is, even if it's not like a nice clear multiplying by a certain number, right? So we can do this for every situation to find whatever the percent is, even if it's not a whole number. All right, so you might see this sometimes written of, instead of part over whole, sometimes it'll say is over of. And that is there to kind of give you a clue in a lot of word problems as to what you're looking for. Okay, because a lot of times you're going to be looking for the words is, and is going to be connected to the part, and of is going to be connected to the whole. Okay, an example of that is right here. So 3 is 60% of 5. Okay, so you see how the 3 is next to the is, the 5 is next to the of. So 3 is the part. It's some percent of another number. So it's only part of that number. Okay, 5 is the whole because it's the number that we're finding the percent of. Okay, which is why it's next to the of. Okay, so the number by the of is usually the whole. The number by the is usually the part. Okay, but the top should be the part, how much, some smaller part of the whole, and the bottom should be the number you're finding the percent of. All right, so if we were to plug that into the proportion, we get the part of 3, the whole is 5, the percent here is 60. So 3 over 5 equals 60 over 100. If you were to check your proportions using any of the methods that we have, you would see that this is a true proportion. Right? If you cross multiply, you'll get the same products. If you reduce this, it will reduce to 3/5. Those are the two ways we've checked to see if proportions are true. All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting up proportions and use what we know about proportions to solve them. Okay, and you can find any three of these things could be missing. So we're going to go through each of these situations. First, we're going to go through ones where you have to find the part, where we know the whole and the percent, but we don't know the part. So it asks, what is 70% of 600? Okay, so I'm going to write my proportion. The number that's always going to be the same is we're going to have a 100 down there on the bottom right. Okay, because percent means out of 100. So this will always be 100. Okay, I know the percent. The percent is 70%. And this 600, because it's right by the of, that is the whole. Okay, we're finding a percent of 600. And it's going to be some other smaller number, the part that we don't know. You can notice this what stands for the unknown is right next to the is. So we don't know the part. All right, so then I can use any of the methods that I want to solve this. I can do my cross multiplying, or you might notice, okay, we got a situation here where 100 goes into 600. To get from here to here, all you have to do is multiply by 6. This was one of the strategies we used to solve proportions at work sometimes. So if we notice that we're just multiplying the bottom by 6, we can also just multiply the top by 6. So 70 times 6 gives me 420. Okay. If you didn't see that, we can do it with cross products just by doing our fish method. Remember, 600 times 70 divided by 100, and that'll give you the same thing. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, so again, I'm set up my proportion. This 100 is automatic. Okay, I know the percent is 40. Okay, and what number is, we don't know the part, 40% of 400. So 400 is a whole that we're finding a percent of, and I don't know the part. Okay. And again, you might notice we can just multiply by 4 here. Well, let's go through the fish method to remind us how that works. Okay. So remember, we're going to start down here, okay, on the same ratio as our variable. Multiply across. 400 times 40 is 1,600. Oh, sorry, 16,000. Okay, and then divide by this number. Divided by 100, so 16,000 divided by 100 equals 160. I give you that number. Okay, so x is 160. 160 is 40% of 400. And I can use what I know about estimating to make sure that's reasonable, because 40% is a little less than half, and this is a little less than half of this number. Okay. For the first one, 70% is more than half, and this is more than half of 600. Okay, so there's a reason we start off with those estimated percents first. Keep that in mind to kind of check to see if your answers are reasonable. All right, so why don't you try this one? Set up your proportion, solve for the part, and hit start when you're ready to resume. All right, welcome back. Hopefully this is how you set up your proportion. X over 5, okay, equals 40 over 100. Okay, so 40 is a percent, 100 is always here. Of 5, we're finding percent of 5, so that's the whole. Okay, you could use your proportional reasoning or do the fish method. 5 times 40 is 200, divided by 100 is 2. So 2 is our answer there. All right, so let's do one where we're trying to find the whole. So this might be what it sounds like. 18.2 is 28% of what number? So here we have the part. We know what 28% of the number is. We're trying to find what that's 28% of. So the whole thing is what we don't know. Okay. Get my 100 is automatic. I know the percent is 28. Okay, the whole is on the bottom. So this is the thing that I don't know. Okay, this relates to 100% of my number. 28% of my number, that part, is on top is 18.2. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do my fish method. So 18.2 times 100, it's 18,200. I'm sorry, no, it's not. It's 1,820. Okay, and then I'm going to divide that by 28. Okay, remember, you can use calculators on this. So I'm going to. So 1820 divided by 28 equals 65. Okay, so 18.2 is 28% of 65. Okay, let's try another one. I'll do it over here for more space. Make the same proportion. 100 is always on the bottom. I know my percent is 42. Is here 14.7 is, that's the part, 40% of some other number. So my x is on the bottom because I don't know the whole thing. I'm going to do the same thing. So 14.7 times 100 is 1470. Divide that by 42. Go to my calculator. 1470 divided by 42 is 35. Okay, they won't always work out to nice numbers, but these have been pretty nice numbers so far. Okay, so x equals 35. 14.7 is 42% of 35. Again, if I think about my percent reasoning, 42 is a little less than half, and this number is a little less than half of this. If you doubled it, you wouldn't quite get this much. Okay, so that seems like a reasonable answer to me. All right, your turn. So here's one from a word problem where you're going to set up a proportion and see if you can solve to find the whole. Good luck, and we'll move on when you're ready. All right, welcome back, everybody. Hopefully this is the answer you got, 752 students. And I put about because it wasn't exact, but here's a situation where it's asking how many students attend Cottage Grove Middle School. Well, that has to be a whole number. You can't have a fractional number of people. So rounding up to the nearest whole number, you get 752. Okay. Hopefully this is how you set it up. 65 is the percent. Here's the 100. Okay. 489 is the part. Okay, so 489 is 65% of a bigger number, this bigger number being how many students attend total. Right? So this is 100% of the students who attend, this is 65% of the students. Okay, so setting that up, doing your cross multiplying, 489 times 100 divided by 65 gives you about 752. All right, last kind, let's look at some ones where you're trying to find the percent. Okay, so same idea, set it up the same way, it's just the unknown is going to be the percents. So 12, first one, 12 is what percent of 8? Okay, so I draw my proportion, always put the 100 right there. The percent now is what I don't know. Okay, so I look at these, 12 is some percent of 8. So 12 is the part, 8 is the whole. Now, some of you might be tempted to assume that 8 is the part because 12 is a bigger number, so that must be the whole thing, right? Well, that's only true if your percent is over or is under 100, right? If we're dealing with a situation where you can have more than 100% of something, your part can be bigger than your whole, right? Because 100% is all of something. 150 or 160 or 170% would be more than the whole thing. Okay, so we got to be careful about what it's saying is the percent and what's the whole. So 12 is this part, some percent of 8. And I can expect, because the top is bigger than the bottom, I'm going to get more than 100% here. All right, so let's figure that out. So we got 12 times 100 is 1200. Divide that by 8, and you get 150. So 12 is 150% of 8, right, which makes sense. 150% would be 1.5. If you took 8 plus another half of 8, you'd get 12. Okay, all right, let's look at another. 7 is what percent of 13? Okay, so you got 100 there right away. 7 is, that's the whole. What percent? I don't know the percent, but it's some percent of 13. Okay, this number's not going to work out nearly as nice, but let's do it. 7 times 100 is 700. Divide that by 13. Get some ugly number. Let's see what it is. $700 divided by 13 is about 53.85. It's about 53.85 or so. Okay, and it's not saying this is number of people or anything. It's just asking you the percent of this number. So that could definitely be a decimal. So I'm okay. That would not be a whole number. All right, let's stop one last time to give you a chance to try a couple of these. So go ahead and see if you can find these percents, and then we'll move on. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you got these answers. The first one is 36. 9 is 36% of 25. Okay, so 9 out of 25, there's the part and the whole. Trying to find the percent, do my cross multiplying. 9 times 100 is 900. Divided by 25 is 36. Okay. Might also see we're multiplying by 4, so 9 times 4 is 36. All right, 15 is what percent of 12? So here's another one where the part is bigger than the whole, right? So this percent is bigger than the whole number. That means I should expect a percent more than 100%, which I do in fact get. Okay, we don't have a nice clear number you can multiply here. That's okay. So we'll do 15 times 100 is 1500. Divided by 12 gives you 125, right? Which is more than 100%, which is why this number is bigger than that number. All right, so I'll give you a chance to try that. Don't forget to ask questions if you have them. We'll be practicing this percent proportion more as we go forward too. This is kind of the main idea of this unit. All right, good luck.